Erdachsendeckel Scharnier Schmiernibbel Kommission. Donaudampfschifffahrtselektrizität. I'm not 100% sure what this even means. I can't even do this one slowly. I swear I can speak the language. Gosh! The #1 longest German word with 80 letters. Hallo, Servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Feli. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but I've been living here in Cincinnati, Ohio, on and off since 2016. And as a German native speaker living abroad, I feel like even people who've never taken a single German class in their life know that the German language has some really long words. I think that and sounding aggressive are kind of the two key features that people associate with German. And hey, even though we do have a lot of words that are way shorter than their English equivalents, like Angel is fishing rod or Fließband is conveyor belts. There are probably some better examples actually. We do indeed have some pretty long words in the German language, and today I'll try to pronounce the 10 longest ones for you guys. And I'll actually try to say them fast too. And little teaser, the longest one actually has 80 letters, so we'll see if I'll even be able to get through that one. One of the most common questions I get asked is what my recommendations are for learning German or a foreign language in general. And I love when I get those questions because learning a new language is such a cool thing to do. Whether it's because you want to travel or learn the language of your ancestors, for professional development, or just for fun. And that's where today's sponsor Babbel comes in, because I personally think the easiest way to integrate language learning into your everyday life is with a language learning app. Because you can just do a session right before bed, or during your lunch break, or on the subway, just whenever it fits in for you. And Babbel is also pretty addictive, and that's exactly what you want when learning a new language. Consistency. The more often you hear the language and practice it, the faster your progress will be. And Babbel is not only one of the top language learning apps in the world, it was also the very first language learning app out there, founded in 2007 in Berlin. And their lessons are actually designed by real language teachers so that you can practice real-world conversations, not just these artificial textbook scenarios. It's been proven that Babbel will help you start speaking the new language in just 3 weeks. And in case you do change your mind, they also have a 20-day money-back guarantee. They truly have lessons for any important situations you'll encounter, like you'll learn how to properly order at a restaurant. Ich nehme ein Bier. Or how to make plans with people, but they also have lessons about all of the tricky German letters and their pronunciation. Or, fitting in with today's topic, they even have a lesson on compound words. And I don't know if any of you went to see Taylor Swift this summer or Adele at her recent residency in Munich, but this lesson is all about going to a concert, for example. Now that fall season is starting, I feel like it's the perfect time to cozy up and use the time to improve your language skills with Babbel. And with my link that you'll find in the description below, you'll even get 60% off your subscription. So let's start easy with number 10 on the list. I have my laptop down here so I can read everything. Well, technically there are several words sharing 10th place because they all have 33 letters, but I picked this one, and it is Bundesausbildungsförderungsgesetz. It's actually not that hard. Bundesausbildungsförderungsgesetz. Bundesausbildungsförderungsgesetz. But what does this even mean? So a lot of these super long words are legal terms, just like this one. So this is the name of a law, and it translates to something like Federal Training Assistance Act. And this one's actually a law that's talked about a lot in German society, but since nobody has time to say 33 letters every single time, it's most commonly referred to as BAföG. And BAföG is basically a financial aid program that students can receive during their time at university, in some cases even during the last years of high school, and then they have to pay it back at a later point in time. At number 9, we have Donaudampfschifffahrtsgesellschaft with 34 letters. Donaudampfschifffahrtsgesellschaft, Donaudampfschifffahrtsgesellschaft. Still relatively easy. And this translates to Danube, Donau, Steamship, Dampfschifffahrt, Company, Gesellschaft. So it's basically just a very long compound word that consists of several individual words, but because in German we don't usually leave any spaces or hyphens between the individual words, as you would in English, we end up with one really long word at the end. But if you know the individual words, it's really not that hard anymore. You just need to be able to break it down. Just to give you another example of how this works, so when in English you would say elementary school teacher, 3 separate words, elementary school teacher. In German, you'd say Grundschullehrer. One word. But back to this word. So technically, Dampfschifffahrt is a compound word in itself too. It consists of Dampf, which is steam, Schiff, which is ship, and Fahrt, which is like a ride or a trip or cruise in this case. And since the spelling reform in 1996, this word is actually spelled with 3 F's here. It used to just be 2, but now it's 3 because Schiff gets to keep both of its F's, and then Fahrt gets to keep it too, so now it's even 1 letter longer than it originally used to be. Now, some of the words on this list are actually still in use today and are even listed in the German Duden, which is the official German language dictionary. Other words on the list aren't in use anymore or have never been used to begin with. But this one is real, and it's the name of a former shipping company that was founded in 1829 by the Austrian government for transporting passengers and cargo on the Danube. Its full official name was actually Erste Donaudampfschifffahrtsgesellschaft. Erste means first, and then they did use hyphens originally between the 3 components of the word. Even today in the Duden, it's officially listed with 1 hyphen after Donau, which I would assume has to do with Donau being the name of the river. Either way, it's a pretty long word, and keep this one in mind because it'll come back later. Next up, we have Kraftfahrzeughaftpflichtversicherung with 36 letters. Kraftfahrzeughaftpflichtversicherung, Kraftfahrzeughaftpflichtversicherung. This one's a little more tricky with all the F's. Kraftfahrzeughaftpflichtversicherung. Now this one too is listed with a hyphen in the Duden, and in real life, Kraftfahrzeug is usually abbreviated as Kfz, so KFZ, not KFC like the restaurant, but KFZ, which translates to motorized vehicle. And then Haftpflichtversicherung is a word that's used a lot in the German language because we love our insurances, and this one is a liability insurance. Haftpflicht is liability, Versicherung is insurance. Number 7 isn't a word that's in the Duden, so it's technically a made-up compound word, but over the last few months, this one has become famous all over the world, and it is Rhabarber, Barbara, Bar, Barbaren, Bad, Barbierbier. And this has 44 letters. Let's try it a little bit faster. Rhabarber, Barbara, Bar, Barbaren, Bad, Barbierbier. No, wait. Barbierbier. No, that was right. Rhabarber, Barbara, Bar, Barbaren, Bad, Barbierbier. That one's actually really not that hard. Like, you only have to make sure that you don't miss a syllable. And of course, you need to be able to do the German R, but like, that shouldn't be a problem for me. Now, in case you missed it, there was this German comedy song that completely went viral earlier this year. There was even a famous dance for it. I actually made a whole explanation video about it. I'll link that up here for you guys. And I also ended up singing/rapping the song and doing the dance myself. So if you haven't seen that yet, I'll be sure to link it, as I said, up here and in the description. But the song was actually based on an old German tongue twister that plays with this very concept of adding one word after another to create a compound word that's progressively getting longer and longer, and this ends up being the end result of it all.
Dass dann feierlich das Rhabarber, Barbara, Bar, Barbaren, Bad, Barbier, Bier nannte.
So this translates to rhubarb, Barbara, bar, barbarians, beard, barber, beer. Doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense at first sight, but the story basically explains that there's a girl named Barbara who makes amazing rhubarb cakes, so she's called Rhubarb Barbara. Then she owns a bar, which is the Rhubarb Barbara Bar, and there is a group of barbarians that always hang out at the bar, so they're the Rhubarb Barbara Bar Barbarians. And then they have beards and a barber that trims the beards, and the barber likes to drink beer, and so on. Be sure to check out the full video for a more in-depth explanation. Okay, this next one is actually the name of a registered society in the small German town of Pausa, and it is Erdachsendecke Scharnier Schmiernippel Kommission. So that's 47 letters, and let's try to say it a little bit quicker. Erdachsendecke Scharnier Schmiernippel Kommission. Erdachsendecke Scharnier Schmiernippel Kommission. It's not that hard to say for me, but it's such a weird word. I had never heard of this before in my life, but Erdachse is the Earth's axis, then Decke is a cap or cover, Scharnier is a hinge, Schmiernippel is apparently a technical term. In English, it would be grease fitting or grease nipple, but the reason it sounds funny is the nipple. Like the German word Nippel is the same as in English, so I don't know, that just kind of sounds weird. And then Kommission is commission. So I guess it's the Earth Axis Cap Hinge Grease Fitting Commission. And apparently this is part of a tourism marketing joke or strategy of that town, Pausa, which goes back to the late 1800s when they started to claim that the town was located at the center of the Earth, which most likely goes back to the fact that it was located pretty much in the middle of the Vogtland, which is a region that covers parts of Bavaria, Saxony, Thuringia, and Bohemia, which is in today's Czech Republic. And as the center of the Earth, they have an Earth axis that's poking out of the ground in the basement of the town hall, and tourists can visit it for a fee, and then they can help grease it so that the Earth keeps turning. And apparently that process is traditionally supervised by the Erdachsendeckel Scharnier Schmiernippel Kommission. I read that they even sell an Erdachsenschmiermittel, so Earth Axis grease, which is really just herbal liquor. I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't really picture it all that well, so if any of you have ever been there before, please let us know what's up with this in the comments below. But hey, they definitely have a real website for the commission, and it does have the abbreviation EV. EV, which means they're officially an eingetragener Verein, so a registered society. Now for this next word, I couldn't really find a whole lot of information, so I'm not actually sure where this comes from and if this was ever used in real life, but it certainly could have been. It's Unterhaltungselektronik-Telefonverarbeitungspartner with 50 letters. Let's try it a little bit faster. Unterhaltungselektronik-Telefonverarbeitungspartner. Unterhaltungselektronik-Telefonverarbeitungspartner. That was pretty fast, I think. So Unterhaltung technically means entertainment, and then Elektronik is electronics, but I think Unterhaltungselektronik together is usually translated as consumer electronics. Then Telefon is phone, Verarbeitung is processing, and Partner is partner. So consumer electronics, phone processing partner. Okay, we're getting up there. At number 4, we got Straßenentwässerungsinvestitionskostenschulden-Dienstumlage with 58 letters. So let's try it a little bit faster. Straßenentwässerungsinvestitionskostenschulden-Dienstumlage. I think that was right. I swear I can speak the language. Straßenentwässerungsinvestitionskostenschulden-Dienstumlage. I'll let that count. And I did find this word mentioned in some government documents, but to be completely honest, I'm not 100% sure what this even means. Straße is street, Entwässerung is drainage, Investition is investment, Kosten are costs, Schulden is debt, Dienst is service, and Umlage I think would be allocation. So I guess this would be street, drainage, investment, cost, debt, service allocation. Pretty clear, right? Numero 3 is gonna be one that actually shows up a lot when people talk about super long German words, because this was an actual law in the German state of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, that's also a long word, that was in effect from 1999 up until 2013. And it is Rindfleischetikettierungsüberwachungsaufgabenübertragungsgesetz. This word has 63 letters, so let's try it a little bit faster. Rindfleischetikettierungsüberwachungsaufgabenübertragungsgesetz. Rindfleischetikettierungsüberwachungsaufgabenübertragungsgesetz. Hell yeah. This translates to something like beef labeling supervision duties delegation law. Rind is cattle, Fleisch is meat, so together it's cattle meat, aka beef in English. Etikettierung means labeling, Überwachung is supervision, Aufgaben are duties, Übertragung is delegation, and Gesetz is law. When this law was abandoned in 2013, it even made it into American TV.
Germany's longest official word has now been removed from the language. This word had 63 letters. We're not going to try and say it, but we can tell you it sounds like this.
Rindfleischetikettierungsüberwachungsaufgabenübertragungsgesetz.
I mean, she did a pretty good job, whoever read that. Clearly not a native speaker, but sounded very cute.
So what does that word mean? It refers to a law regulating the testing of beef for mad cow disease. Is there a way to play that again, that word again? Is there a way to do it?
Yeah, let's hear it again.
Just because it's so interesting. No way to do it?
It's interesting.
Okay, here you go.
I'll have two of those.
Charlie, could you please use that in a sentence, please?
Yeah, they should have that in the spelling bee. Yes.
Yeah.
At least we know what it
Have
means.
you heard this about mad cow disease?
Yes, it was ridiculous.
There you go.
I don't actually know if spelling bees are even a thing in Germany. I've never heard of a spelling bee in Germany, but I don't know, maybe it was just not a thing at my school. Now, technically, the law was officially called Gesetz zur Übertragung der Aufgaben für die Überwachung der Rinderkennzeichnung und Rindfleischetikettierung. And the official short form, which is absolutely hilarious that this is the short form, was Rinderkennzeichnungs- und Rindfleischetikettierungsüberwachungsaufgabenübertragungsgesetz. So cattle marking and beef labeling supervision duties delegation law. And I've actually also seen people take this first part of the word before the hyphen and then merge that together with the rest and turn it into Rinderkennzeichnungs-, Fleischetikettierungs-Überwachungsaufgabenübertragungsgesetz, which then would be a word with 79 letters, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think this one makes a whole lot of sense. I don't think it was supposed to be that. Like, why would it be cattle marking, meat labeling, blah, blah, blah? That just doesn't seem to make sense, so I'm not gonna let that count. Okay, we're moving up to the second longest German word on this list, and that is with 67 letters. Grundstücksverkehrsgenehmigungszuständigkeitsübertragungsverordnung. Let's try that a little bit faster. Grundstücksverkehrsgenehmigungszuständigkeitsübertragungsverordnung. That has a lot of S sounds. Grundstücksverkehrsgenehmigungszuständigkeitsübertragungsverordnung. Grundstücksverkehrsgenehmigungszuständigkeitsübertragungsverordnung. I am doing surprisingly well. I'm actually very impressed. Now, this was a federal regulation regarding real estate, and this too was technically the short title. The long title was Verordnung zur Übertragung der Zuständigkeiten des Oberfinanzpräsidenten der Oberfinanzdirektion Berlin nach § 8 Satz 2 der Grundstücksverkehrsordnung auf das Bundesamt zur Regelung offener Vermögensfragen. I have no clue what I just read. German bureaucracy for ya. Okay, let's translate the shorter version. Grundstück is technically a plot of land, but I've also found it translated as real estate. Then Verkehr means traffic, but in this case, I think they mean transaction. Genehmigung is permit. Zuständigkeit is competence or authority. Übertragung is transfer. And Verordnung is ordinance. So I guess real estate, transaction, permit, competence, transfer, ordinance. And this ordinance was in effect from 2003 up until 2007. And with that, we finally made it to the #1 longest German word. And apparently this one was even listed in the Guinness World Records for a while in the 90s. And it is, with 80 letters, Donaudampfschifffahrts, Elektrizitäten, Hauptbetriebwerk, Unternehmen, Bauunternehmen, Beamtengesellschaft. I already screwed up. Let's try this again. Donaudampfschifffahrts, Elektrizitäten, I can't say Elektrizitäten, Hauptbetriebwerk, Bauunternehmen, Beamten, Gesellschaft. I can't even do this one slowly. Donaudampfschifffahrts, Elektrizitäten, Hauptbetriebwerk, Bauunternehmen, Beamten, Gesellschaft. I feel like all the connecting S letters that we usually have in those compound words in German to make it easier to say, they're all missing here. Well, I'll see you in half an hour when I finally got this down.
6 hours later.
Donaudampfschifffahrts, Elektrizitäten, Hauptbetriebwerk, Bauunternehmen, Beamten, Gesellschaft. I think that was it. Okay, now let's do it all together as fast as possible, okay? Ready? Donaudampfschifffahrts, Elektrizitäten, Hauptbetriebwerk, Bauunternehmen, Beamtengesellschaft. I think that was half right. Donaudampfschifffahrts, Elektrizitäten, Gosh! Donaudampfschifffahrts, Elektrizitäten, Hauptbetriebswerk, Bauunternehmen, Beamtengesellschaft. Yes! Okay, remember how we talked about Donaudampfschifffahrtsgesellschaft earlier and I said that it'll come back later? This is basically the same word, just stretched out even more. So instead of just Danube Steamship Company, this is Danube, Donau, Steamship, Dampfschifffahrt, Elektrizitäten, Electricity, Haupt, Main, Betriebswerk, Depot, I think, Bauunternehmen, Construction Company, Beamten, Officials, Gesellschaft, Company. So, altogether, I guess it would be Danube, Steamship, Electricity, Main, Depot, Construction, Company, Officials, company. I don't know, maybe it would sound better if we made it construction business? So Danube Steamship Electricity Main Depot Construction Business Officials Company. I've also found translations on the internet that said the Association for Subordinate Officials of the Head Office Management of the Danube Steamboat Electrical Services. I just realized that I said steamship the whole time instead of steamboat. I guess steamboat would be correct. I don't, you guys get it. You know what I meant. I can't even tell you which of these translations is more accurate because I honestly don't even know what this is supposed to mean in German. But the good news is we don't really have to because there's no proof that this word was ever really in use, and it's most likely just an artificially made up compound word whose sole purpose it was to be very, very, very long. And hey, that goal was definitely accomplished. And again, this one originally had 79 letters, but then we had the spelling reform, so these 2 F's actually became 3, making this word 80 letters long. Okay, how did you guys do with these words? Were you able to say any of them? And can you think of any other super long words? Let me know in the comments below. Also, be sure to check out Babbel and secure your 60% discount with the link down below. And if you like my content and my channel in general, you can support me by engaging with this video. So leave a comment, hit the thumbs up button, and of course, subscribe to my channel. It's just one click. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, so follow me there if you haven't done so yet. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Tschüss!